everyone, Clea here. Today I'm going to show you how to build a fast travel portal on your home plot in Palia. So I am building a Harry Potter themed plot at the moment, so I thought it would be fun to make my fast travel portal look like a fireplace that's connected to the Floo network. So you can see here, it's just a fireplace that we can walk up to and access our fast travel point. Now to get started, I'm going to assume that you already know how to put a house onto a red present. If you don't, that's okay. Just pause here, and there are a ton of tutorials that are going to show you how to do this. And full disclosure, I did use an Xbox controller to do so, so if you are on console, it's no problem at all. You can absolutely do all of what I'm about to show you on console. Now, once you've got your house on the red present, you're going to want to go ahead and open up all of your walls and also take off your roof. There we go, and a flat roof. And now we are ready to spin this so that it's on its side. To do so, you're going to take a stone block and put it on really any shelf. I'm going to use the industrial shelf here. Make sure you have enough space to do this, especially since the house is so big. You want to make sure that you are fully within the grid on your plot, not hanging over the side. And then pick up the present that your house is on. And since we have rotated that shelf and block, we now just want to place our present with our house on top of it. There we are. And then when we pick the block back up, it's going to rotate back, which is going to flip our entire house sideways. There we go. Now, really, the sky is the limit when it comes to what you can do with a sideways house. I wanted to make it an alleyway, so I got it situated on my plot between some buildings, so I wanted it. And then I actually turned one of the walls back on, so I have that back wall for the end of the alleyway. All right, now it's time for us to build our fireplace. So I played around a lot with the fireplace. You don't have to follow exactly this design. You are free to use your imagination and create a fireplace that looks good to you. But definitely the things you're going to need to make one are going to be some shelves. I started with the industrial wall shelves, but I ultimately didn't use them. I ended up using a combination of the homestead shelves and the makeshift shelves instead, but you absolutely could use the industrial shelves. You just might be able to see a little bit of the wood from underneath when you walk into the fireplace. I don't think anyone would really notice, but I can be a bit of a perfectionist, so I ended up using the other ones. And I would say if you have the homestead shelves, use those instead if you can. Now, the other thing you're going to need is a lot of these stone yardwork pillars. Now, these you can purchase from the register in Kenley's office in the town hall. So that's upstairs in the town hall to the left, the register in Kenley's office. And you'll need probably at least 10, if not more of them, depending on what fireplace design you want to do. Now, the real trick to the fireplace is just using the smaller object on top of these stone pillars to group select them. Now, this is a trick that not everybody knows. So if you are kind of newer to glitching, I wouldn't even call this a glitch. It's just a way you can get objects to get closer to each other. So again, you basically just take your small object, such as a gourmet soup bowl or gourmet dessert bowl, put it on the bigger object, and then when you hover over the bowl, you group select both, and it basically tricks it into thinking the bigger object is smaller than it is. So then you have more options for places to put it, which is so nice. So go ahead and stack 2 on either side using that method where you're group selecting with the smaller object on top. And then place your shelves to kind of make a wall between them. If you're going to use the bigger shelves, it should only take 2, but the smaller ones might take 3. Now we can do that same trick with our bowl on top, group select, and put them on the shelves, and you should actually be able to get them super close to each other as well, so that they basically merge into each other, which is so nice. Now this is about the point where I realized I don't love the industrial shelves because they stick out a little too far, and I wanted something that had less depth, and I tried the makeshift shelves. The problem here is that I only had 2 of them and discovered that I'd probably need 3. Now, the makeshift shelves are the ones that you have to fish up in chests while you're fishing. And there are so many different makeshift objects that your chances of getting a shelf are relatively low. So not only do you have to fish and get a chest, but then within that chest has to be the shelf. Ain't nobody got time for all of that. So I used the 2 that I had, and then after playing around with it, I realized that the homestead shelves were essentially the same depth, and I probably could have just used those the whole time and saved myself a lot of hours of fishing. So as you can see here, we're still just putting the bowl on and stacking them up. And I could have easily just done 5 across. And I would definitely recommend, if maybe you're newer to glitching, that you kind of stop there and just have them go straight across. You will see in a minute that instead of going straight across, I decided to get a little bit fancy with it and used cancel place to move some out of the way and have one be a little bit higher in the middle. If you know how to cancel place, you could definitely do that to get these all to line up perfectly exactly the way you want them. But if you don't know how to cancel place, that's absolutely okay. Don't feel like you need to know it in order to do this. It might just help you get them lined up a little bit easier. But as you could see a second ago, I had all 5 up there with barely any gaps in between, and I think that looks great how it is as well. It might just take a little bit more patience. Might have to move the bowl, rotate things around until you get them lined up just as close as you can go. And as a reminder, it might be a good time to also turn off the grid to try to get them a little bit closer. Especially when I was new, I always would forget that you could turn off the grid to move things with right trigger. So just a friendly reminder that you can definitely do that. Now, you're also going to want to stack, I'd say about 2 more on either side just to add a little bit more depth to it. Because remember, this is a fireplace that you want to be able to walk into in order to travel. So make sure that the height is high enough for your character to walk into it without hitting their head. And I think having just the 2 columns worth of depth on either side makes it feel a little more accurate. And again, this whole time we're constantly group selecting with our cursor pointed at the bowl so that we can move things really close to each other. There we go. Nice. All right. Now here is where you're going to see me cancel place these out of the way. For anyone who doesn't know and is curious what cancel placing is, it's basically where we're moving these knowing that they're going to snap back to exactly where they were once we leave our plot and come back. And the way you make that happen is by double jumping and grabbing it while your glider's out, moving it off to the side, but instead of actually clicking A to place, you're going to select something else placeable out of your inventory bar and then hit B as in never mind. And then it should leave it there. And when you leave and come back, snap back into place as we just saw. There are a ton of tutorials on how to do that, but that's just the general idea of it if it's something that's unfamiliar to you. All right, at this point, we are going to get out our materials to make the fire, and we're going to have to sink it into the ground, of course. Now, you're definitely going to want a wooden floor piece. And I used the Spring Fever fire pits. I put 2 of them side by side on this floor piece. And luckily they get really close to each other really easily, so you don't have to do anything special to make that happen. Just try to get them as close as you can on that piece of flooring. That looks good. And that's as close as we can get them. All right, now we're going to need a wall piece. and a shelf. And this is just generally how to sink any object. Obviously, we're doing it with these spring fever fire pits, but you can do this with essentially anything. Now, the most important part is the height you want the shelf at, because we want to see as much of the fire as possible, but we don't want to see the metal ring around the top of the fire pit. So I put it close enough so I can tell exactly how far it's going to sink and make sure that my shelf is at the right height. And then you're going to want to grab a paver. A lot of people use the smaller circular pavers, but I have a hard time grabbing those, so I use the wood plank paver personally. You double jump, grab it while you're in the air, move back a little, select something else out of your hotbar, and then hit B. Now grab that wood flooring piece and put it on the paver. There we go. And then select the paver, pick it up, put it back down, and that's going to be what sinks what is on it. So now this is our piece everything's connected to. So when you grab your paver, you should be able to move it. It's all going to stay underground, but you can move it all as one big piece. And we're going to bring it back around to our alleyway. Now, you could just put it down on the ground and find a way to hide it potentially, but I figured why do that when we have this whole back area behind that no one's going to see? So instead of having to hide it, we could definitely just, go put it somewhere out of the way. If we could jump high enough to do that. There we go. So we're going to kind of climb on our sideways house here, make sure it's on the ground and spin it and line it up exactly right so that the fire is in the right place. And then our little anchor piece is out of the way. That's a part of my plot that no one's going to be able to access. So that's quick and easy. There we go. Should be lined up just right. You'll notice I put down 2 little stone floor pieces, which you can do if you want to. You could even try to put down any other flooring or maybe a grate or something in that fire area so it's not just grass. I didn't have any good ideas, but I would love to hear any ideas if you guys have any to make that fire area look like it's not just grass. All right. One other quick thing to call out is that you're going to need the fast travel gate. You will get a recipe for this eventually. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but essentially you can craft these and put them on your plot. And we're gonna have to put that right as close to the wall as possible. That way when we walk into the fireplace, it's going to register that we're getting close to the map so that it looks like a fast travel point just by walking into the fire. Here's a little sneak peek of what's going to be Diagon Alley. That'll be fun. I can make another tutorial to show you how to do that. But yep, now you can see when we walk in the fire, we can select where we want to fast travel to. One other call out is that there is the wallpaper, the stucco wallpaper on the back to make it look like stone. Since this was a house we turned sideways, you have tons of options as far as flooring and wallpapers that you want to add. But I think for today, for our Harry Potter themed plot, we did a great job of making a fireplace that you can walk into, throw some Floo powder, and off you go to Hogwarts. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave comments if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to help. See you next time.